Hi, it's Ian here from Tascio Rex Fossil Preparation Equipment. Now, you may ask, why have I got two Hoover bags on the table? Okay, the one on the left here is the H-Class Hoover bag for the BOFA dust extraction system, which is a great system. On the right here, I have a standard Henry Hoover Heptaflow bag. They're actually made of identical materials. This one costs £50, this one costs about £1.20. The reason for that is BOFA is only sold in very small quantities, it's quite niche, so these are short on the ground in terms of their production. These are probably made in their hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions. Therefore, the price of these is significantly lower. The problem with that is if you've got one of these systems, which I said are great, changing the bag fairly often can be very expensive compared to changing the bag fairly often on these, not so much. So what can we do if we've got a system like this, or any H-class bag system is quite expensive. The Metabo, which is in the UK anyway, is probably one of the cheapest H-class vacs you can get, probably two-thirds the price of the BOFA. The bags for that are still around £20. So what can we do? So what I've been doing, I've been looking into this and how we can improve cost savings in the medium to long term. So what I've done, by the magic of not cutting anywhere, but just going into the prep room, is I have made a fine filter, extra fine dust extraction bolt-on for our system here that uses the Henry Hoover Heptaflow bags. So let me explain a little bit more. So we've got our dual cyclone system here. The main cyclone will extract around 90% of your abrasive and grinding dust. The turbo cyclone probably another 2 or 3%, though it's a real pain to empty, and probably when it gets to about here it doesn't really filter much more than that. So you're left with about 7%, 6 to 7% of the very, very finest dust going straight into your H-class bag here. And trust me when I tell you, when you've done about 5 hours of dry grinding, that starts to show on its performance. So what can we do? Well, I've come up with this system here, which basically uses a special coupler here which fixes onto a Henry Hoover hose, and then the Henry Hoover nose part here, which the bags for Henry Hoover actually fit onto. Nice and snug, don't come off, full airtight, dust tight seal. I've put all that inside a heavy duty plastic box here, which is sealed around the edge. I've machined a special grate so the outlet doesn't suck the bag out, which would happen if we don't have that outlet there. This, you can see the Henry Hoover Heptaflow bag in there, will mean you can probably run it for 4 or 5 hours and then just bin that bag and pop another one in, because it's only about £1.20 as opposed to £50. So obviously the initial outlay for this will cost you more, but if you're prepping fairly often, in a couple of weeks you've recouped your money. So really, with a system like this, you've actually got a 5 filter system. You've got your coarse abrasive, coarse dust, a bit of fine dust, most of the fine dust, a little bit of the fine dust will go into your H-class bag, and then you've got your Hepta fine dust filter at the bottom. So by the time anything gets there, it's pretty much negligible. So that will keep running for a much longer time with high efficiency suction if you've got this installed with cheaper but just as good Heptaflow bags than the more niche ones that you have inside an H-class vacuum like this. These will be tested over the next few days just to check that it works as it should, and then will be added onto our website as a bolt-on for the hybrid system that we have here. Anyway, I hope that's clear. If not, drop me a message.